Hello, friends. Welcome back to Forest Friends. I am Mrs. Sapp, and I can't wait to see what lies ahead for our friends Sally Squirrel, Gina Giraffe, Marvin Mouse, Charlie Chipmunk, and Robert Rabbit. They've had fun building bridges, finding their lost food, and solving their problems together in helping forest. Before we get started, let's get our wiggles out and stretch. We've been hanging out in helping forest a lot, so let's act like a tall tree. Plant your feet down, sturdy and strong, like the roots of a tree. Now stretch your arms up as tall as you can. Reach up really tall. Now put your arms down to your sides like branches. Stretch out those fingers out nice and wide like they are leaves. Wiggle your arms and fingers around like the wind is blowing through the branches and the leaves. Let's try that one more time. Put your feet down, nice and sturdy, like roots. Stretch up nice and tall to the sky, as tall as a tall tree in the forest. Put your arms down like branches. Spread out your fingers like leaves and wiggle them around like they're blowing in the wind. Great job. I think we're about ready. Today, our story is called Forest Friends Picnic Preparation. Let's stop, think, then answer. Looking at our title and our picture, what do you predict our forest friends will be up to today? You might be right. Let's find out. Our focus for today is going to be on categories. We will think of what the items all have in common or what is the same about all of the items. We will also look at what belongs and what doesn't belong in a group. Let's look at an example together. Stop, think, then answer. Which animals do not belong in helping forest? Most of these characters are our forest friends. However, some of them are not and do not belong. Can you figure out who they are? I hope you said the turtle and the bear. They do not belong. We have not met them as characters in Helping Forest. But Marvin Mouse, Robert Rabbit, Charlie Chipmunk, and Gina Giraffe all live together in Helping Forest. We will do similar activities as we go through our story today. Let's hop like Robert Rabbit into Forest Friends Picnic Preparation. One bright morning in the forest sun, Marvin planned a picnic filled with fun. But first, our supplies must be shared. Let's use our skills to be prepared. Sally Squirrel jumped up, her basket at her side. How many berries? I'll count with pride. Marvin smiled and said, 10 berries will do. We'll use the Make 10 strategy and solve it too. It looks like our friends are going to have a picnic. How fun! Have you ever been on a picnic? Think about things you would want at your picnic and things you would not like to show up at your picnic. Let's look at some images together. We will stop, think, then answer. What items are wanted at a picnic and which ones are not? We have a cup, a fork, a basket, ants, a blanket, and rain. What items did you say did not belong? I hope you said rain and ants. Rain and ants would ruin a picnic. Ants would take all of your food, and rain would just get everything wet. However, you definitely would need a basket to carry all of your supplies, a blanket to lay your food on, a cup to hold your drink, and a fork to eat your food. Let's continue reading. Sally picked 9 berries. How many more do I need? Marvin thought for a moment and said, just 1 indeed. 9 is just 1 away from 10. So add 1 and our task is done again. Sally nodded. Ah, yes, I see. 9 plus 1 is 10. This is easy as can be. Well done, said Marvin, with a big happy grin. Now let's keep going. It's time to begin. Next, Robert Rabbit hopped over so free. I'll gather apples from this big tree. I have 9 apples and 6 more to find. How many apples will I have when combined? Marvin thought for a second, then said with a smile, let's break the 6 apart, just for a while. Take 1 from the 6 and add it to 9, then you'll have 10, which is mighty fine. It looks like our friends are collecting berries and apples for their picnic. Berries and apples are called fruit. Let's look at some pictures and see what items would not belong in the category of fruit. Let's stop, think, then answer. Which one of these items do not belong? There might be more than one. Did you figure it out? I hope you said the steak and the broccoli do not belong. Bananas, strawberries, and watermelon are all fruits, just like berries and apples that the forest friends were gathering. Steak is a type of meat, and broccoli is a vegetable. They do not belong in the fruit category. What is your favorite fruit? That sounds yummy. My favorite fruits are pineapple and watermelon. Let's read some more. Robert Rabbit did as he was told. Now he had 10 and felt so bold. Next add the 5 left from the 6. and we'll have the 15 total. That's the fix. 10 plus 5 equals 15. Robert said so sure. Making 10 makes it so much easier. Marvin responded, "Oh, now I see how breaking numbers apart is the key." Wow, our friends are working with so many numbers. The next time you hear this story, Mrs. Fithian will be doing math problems with you. While we're on the topic of numbers, let's do another What Doesn't Belong activity. Our category this time is going to be numbers. Stop, think, and answer. Which of these items do not belong if our category is numbers? I hope you said N and B do not belong. N and B are letters of the alphabet. Our category was numbers. 1, 4, and 5 belong because those are numbers. Can you think of other numbers that could join this category? Say them aloud. We could add the numbers 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We could go on forever. Let's finish our story with our forest friends. Now we're ready for our picnic. It's time to eat. We'll enjoy our fruits. It'll be sweet. The friends all gathered in their spot. Their food was all there. They brought a lot. With berries, apples, and leaves in line, they were ready to feast, and the day was fine. As they sat down to eat, they all gave a cheer, for counting made it perfectly clear. Thanks to the Make 10 strategy, their task was complete, and they learned that math can make everything sweet. It looks like the picnic is ready, and our friends are going to enjoy a nice feast together. They now have everything they need. They had some problems along the way, but they worked together to solve them. A lesson or moral that we can learn from this story is to never give up and to work together to make solving problems easier. Let's continue looking at categories. Let's start simple and see if you can name the category. I will show you several items, and your job is to think of what they all have in common or how they're the same. Some that we already did with our forest friends were numbers, forest friends, picnic items, and fruit. Let's give it a try. Look at the items and think, what do they all have in common? What are they? It looks like there's bubble gum, gummy bears, chocolate, lollipops, and mints. What category did you think of? These are all candy. Stop, think, then answer. What other candy could we add to this picture? We could add gummy worms or taffy, along with so much more. Let's try another one. We're going to think of the category. What do they all have in common, or how are the items the same? For these images, I see a train, an airplane, a bike, and a bus. Can you think of what they all have in common or how they're the same? I know that if I need to get from one place to another, I could take one of these things. We would call all of these things transportation or ways to travel. I could take a bike to get to a store, or I could take an airplane to get to the beach. So all of these items have to do with traveling or transportation. Now stop, think, then answer. What other vehicles or travel items could we add to this picture? We could add cars and trucks. Cars and trucks can get you from one place to another. Now that we've practiced naming categories, let's see if you can find what does not belong. I will show you images. We will decide the category, but then think about what item or items do not belong. Are you ready? Let's give it a try. First, let's think of the category. I see a starfish, a whale, a crab, a zebra, and a jellyfish. I know that starfish, whales, crabs, and jellyfish can be found in the ocean. I'm thinking our category is ocean animals. Did you come up with that? I'm thinking one of these does not belong. Do you know which one it is? A zebra. A zebra doesn't belong in the ocean. A zebra belongs in a zoo, on the savannah, or in the grasslands. The zebra does not fit in this category. Let's try another one. First, let's think of the category. Look at all the items and name them. I see a baby doll, building blocks, a plant, a yo-yo, a teddy bear, and board games. What do you think the category is? For the majority, were you thinking of items you can play with or toys? You would be correct. If our category is toys or playthings, which item does not belong? Did you say the plant? The plant does not belong with toys. I guess you could try to play with a plant, but it wouldn't be very fun. Let's do another. Here's an activity that you can do at home, because your adventure doesn't have to stop here. I want you to find a piece of paper and draw as many items in a category that I give you. The category for you is things in your kitchen. You might draw a refrigerator, a stove, or a microwave. I want you to draw at least 5 items for your kitchen category. Then share it with a family member or a friend. Maybe after you do the kitchen, you can move on to your bedroom, move on to the bathroom. You can find categories anywhere. Thanks so much for exploring with my forest friends today, inside Helping Forest. I had a blast learning about categories and thinking of things that just don't belong. I'm Mrs. Sapp, and I will see you next time.